we'll create a one new process called DB operations. DB operations. So I just taken the a sample database of the SQL server. Okay, so the UiPath can interact with any type of database like SQL server, SQLite, Oracle, and MS Access. So in market, there is a lot of databases out there. So basically, what is a database? The database is like a storing the data in the tabular format and a relation between the one table to another table. That is a relational RDBMS, relation database management system. So it is very easy to retrieve and update and insert the data. So let us take one small data. Yeah, first what we can do. Um, so we have an Excel, right? So this Excel, we will load this Excel into the database. Okay, so this Excel we will load into the database. Okay, so to load this into the database, so first of all, we should we should have one data table. So the data table is like what all the columns are there. So those things and I'll just mention here. Yeah, that's it. Let me remove this one. So if this is a one database, Chalana TBL. Okay, it has a one table. So Chalana TBL. So this Chalana TBL table does not have any data. See, does not have it's a just a structure only we prepared, and it does not have any data. So some commands, there is a DDL commands and DML commands. DDL means data definition language. Definitions, it represents the definitions: create, alter, right, truncate. These are all the DDL commands. DDL means if you are creating the table, the create table is a DDL. Okay, and alter the column names, that is a DDL. Add the new column, that is a DDL. You're just changing the structure of the table. So DML means data manipulation language. So it has a insert, update, delete. These are all the one category, and select is one category. So in UiPath, there is a two activities called execute non-query and execute. To run this type of command, that what is the commands? Insert, update, delete. Okay, you are inserting the data into the data table. You are updating the existing data, modifying. Basically, update means you are deleting some information, some rows from the data table. So these are all the three major commands, queries. So if you want to use this type of queries, you have to use the execute non-query. So the output is it will return the output is one number. There is a number of affected rows. It will just send the one integer number, int 32. So what it will send? So it will send that how many number of records are affected, how many number of records are inserted, how many number of records deleted if you use the delete command. So if you use the update command, how many number of rows are updated. So this is a just send the number, and here, so it will send the data table. Output is data table. So execute query. Execute query select statements. We are using the select statements. Okay. So if you want to select the data from the database, you can use the execute query. Let us see here UiPath, and so by default database, which type the database, by default you would find any activities. You just go to the manage packages and try the database. So try the official version, official. You can see that UiPath dot database dot activities package. Just install that UiPath dot database dot activities package. Once you install that UiPath dot database dot activities package, it will, so the activities are available, which so the activities which is related to database, connected to the database, these activities are available into your activities panel. The main things are two things: execute query and execute non-query. In interviews also they will ask these questions. How can you connect to the database? So to connect to the database, one question is how can you connect? First we have to connect, and so do the operation. This operation may be execute, or after that disconnect. So this is a process. So you have to connect the database first of all. After that, you do the operations, whatever the operations, insert, update, delete, or select, and disconnect the that connection. Okay. So this is what we have to do. So just type the database base in the UiPath Studio. So see, so there is a lot of activities are came. First is connect and disconnect, connect and disconnect. Okay. And execute non-query, execute query. There is a insert. Is there? Insert is there. Start transactions means is the transitions. They will just use the starting the transitions, and sometimes the people will just start a transition and execute multiple statements. They will just do the commit. Okay, so if they do the commit, so then only the all the changes which they done after the start the transition, it will commit it to the database. Otherwise there is a chance to roll back also. That's why there is the transition. Let's do the connect. First of all, connect. Once you drag the connect activity, you can find the configuration wizard. So just click on the configuration wizard. Here you have to mention which database you want to connect. So you can able to connect the MS Access. You can connect to the ODBC. That means so ODBC data source. If you are interacting with the Oracle, so you have to create a ODBC DSN, and they can connect to the ODBC data source. And SQL server, so which we are going to connect. This is SQL server I install into my computer. SQL server, and SQL server database file. There is a .mdf file is also there. Okay, so where the SQL server is not there, but the SQL server database files are there, so you can connect that one, and also others also there. So there's a lot of other things are there, right? So other databases are there, so you can use that other databases to connect. Okay, so let's connect to the SQL server. Once you select the SQL server, it will ask the server name, localhost. As I installed in the localhost, just type the localhost and select the database name. So this is a database names which we are. So here is a database name. So Smart Master, that is the database name. Okay, so once we just click on the test connection. So test connection succeeded. Click OK. So click OK. So see here, the output of the connection activity is called the database connection. That is one object. Okay, that is one object. Okay, DB connect. DB connect. So use the disconnect also. Use the same object, this output object, to the disconnect. So don't forget to disconnect. So the connections once the operation is done. In the middle, we will do the basic operations. So if you can do basic DB operations, DB operations. So within this DB operations, you may database, you may just use the insert execute non-query is used to see the comments. Just read the comments. Okay, this execute non-query is used to update, insert, and delete comments. Okay, this is a very important interview question. So the people, they will ask the interview questions, what is the difference between the execute non-query and execute query, the common question. Okay, so what is the difference? If you want to execute the insert, update, delete commands into the database, you can use the execute non-query. And if you want to use the select query, the select statements, that means getting the data from the database as output as the data tables, then you can use the execute query. Just use the execute non-query and insert. So once you drag the execute non-queries, it will ask the configuration connections. In the configurations connections, we already have the connection, right? So if you don't have connections, again go to the wizard and select these ones, whatever we done. So everything we have to do. Otherwise, just close this one. So we already have the connection, right? Where is the connection? The output of this connect, DB connect, right? That is a variable. That one you have to provide the existing connection block. Okay. So we have already the existing connection. Let's click on the OK and click on the edit query. So in the edit query, you can insert the values. So but just go to the table. Here is our table, right? Chalana DT. So I'm just making that insert to clipboard. So right click on the table. So if you are using SQL Server, script tables as insert all the queries on the clipboard. So now it will move everything into the clipboard. So what it will do? Let me paste here. So here this will give the one query. Okay, so this query, so let me copy this query here itself in the double quotes. Okay, so one thing is no need this one, insert query, make it in a single line. Okay, so within that, first one is a vehicle number. I'm just giving the vehicle number. So suppose UP 0989, so TDE. Okay, vehicle number. What is the next one? Next one is a total amount. Total amount is this one. So in the double quotes, Chalana amount. What is the status? What status? Click on OK. Now let us try to execute. Currently, how many records are there? So we don't have any records here, right? We don't have any records in the database. We remove. Okay. Let us try to run this one. Okay. So you have a single record, so which were able to insert from the database UiPath to database. You understand? UiPath to database. Yeah, yes, TCL commands. Yeah, they're saying the TCL commands also. Okay. So now what we can do, we can read the data from this Excel and we can insert into the database. So first of all, to read the data, read range. So use the read range activity to read the data and browse the Excel. In the desktop, you have a Chalana status Excel. Okay, so take the data, remove the range. Chalana DT. So how can we have to form the string actually. Suppose let us drag the for each row activity. In the for each row Chalana DT. So that we read here, right? The output of the Chalana DT we are using. So looping each and every row. So it is a just connecting once is enough. Okay, you can perform any number of operations. It's not best practice to connect for each and every operation. Okay, if you keep this connecting to the inside the for each, is what it will do. So it will connect to the each and every row and insert. So connection is happening once is a good practice, not for the multiple times. Okay, now what we can do, so insert this one, execute non-query here, and within this edit query, what I'm doing, so we have to pass the values from the data table, right? So here, instead of hard coding values,
Sudhir, one
yeah, yeah,
a small question. We have spaces are there, no? In the SQL string.
that's yeah, that's not a matter. Okay,
Okay, by
that will
default
not
it
be
is
any.
there. Okay,
No, no, that will not be a matter. So because see, while I am copying here, see here,
uh,
I copied the everything, the insert query here, right? So if I just use the in the single line, it is giving the
okay,
spaces. You can remove the spaces, not a problem. Okay. The
okay,
spaces is a between the commands, not the within the single. See, if you have a chalana or amount, so if you have a
uh,
spaces like this, okay,
okay,
this is a problem, okay, because the spaces are within the values or within the column names. So between the column names, there's if there is a space, that's not a problem. Got it?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Here what we can do, uh, here we will create a one variables, okay, that's a see these variables, you can name it as anything. See, vehicle n number, see, number, and this is the amount, comma, at the rate amount. This one is a at the rate bot status value. See, I'm just giving the different names. What status values? You can give the new names here, but using the at the rate symbol. Okay. So, but here, so who will pass the values to this one? So here, you can find the one button called parameters. So click on that and use the same parameters, whatever you're using without at the rate. Here, inside the query with at the rate. So the parameters without at the rate. Okay. Here,
Okay.
amount and what status value. Okay, the same variables you have to use, same names without at the rate, and you have to pass the values. So what is the vehicle number? So we are in the for each row activity. So in row of 0 is the vehicle number dot to string. This value from the 0th column from the data table, it will go to the sit into the vehicle number, a variable or a parameter. This vehicle number variable value is sit into the that string as it is where you use the at grade that variable name, that parameter name. In the same way, let's go row of 1 dot to string, row of 2 dot to string. Let's
So
click on the
here is the
OK.
amount, right? Amount is you need to take the string, right? Amount, string.
Yeah, more.
You need to
Yeah,
take.
you can take that into the string or integer, floating point, anything is fine. Okay. So, but
Okay.
actually, so here while I'm declaring the database table, I just take a nvarchar. That is a string. Okay, that's why I'm
Okay.
taking the
Then
a
okay.
string.
String
Okay,
char.
nvarchar. Yeah, yeah,
Ah,
nvarchar of the 255. So if you want
yeah.
to take, so you can put this is a integer, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
this is a number, and you can pass the integer in 32 here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, now how many records are there in the our data table?
Only one.
Let's execute. Only one. Okay, just execute here, run. So what the bot will do, bot will read the data from the Excel and load into the data table, and each and every row it will insert into the data table. Okay. See, now we got the all the records into the database. So all the records into the database. That is the execute query. Suppose I want to update. This is the execute query. We just saw the insert query, right? I'm just commenting out, and so commenting the everything. Okay, commenting the for each row itself. Okay. So here I
Otherwise
want
take
to
another sheet. Right.
another data, duplicate data. It
Ah,
will
do.
insert. Yeah, what we can do, we can update this one. So if the AP is there, so this number is there, just update the some amount here. Okay, so that is update query. So for update query, which activity we have to use? Execute query or execute non query? Which one?
execute temporary.
Execute non-query, because that is an update, right? Execute non-query configuration, use the DB connections, existing the DB connection, click on the edit query. Here you can write that update. Update, what is the table name? What is the table name? Here, Chalana TBL. So if you don't know the queries, no problems. Here there is this, these are all the queries are there. So if you go to the update, then it will use the update query. See here, this is the update query. Update table name, set what is the variable name, and set that value and where condition. Okay, so what we can do, we can use the, if the vehicle number is this one, vehicle number is equal to this one, then we can update the amount and status. Suppose you are updating some number and status just image. So this is our query. So update this table name, set the value, set the variable equal to value, that column equal to value, and the where condition. So within the where condition, vehicle number, we are just take the vehicle number of this one. So AP currently is a 0. Let us try see after updating. This is a one updated query. So these values may come from outside of the outside. That means inside the UiPath. So it may come from the any other Excel, or they may pass by input parameters. Okay, let me make this in a single query and copy here. We're not using any parameters here. Let's run, and so let us see whether it is updated properly or not in the database. So let's go to the database and run the query. Once you run the query, it will see that AP earlier it is a 0, now it is updated the. So likewise, so you can update the data within the existing data. If you want to update, suppose you have a employees data, so that Bangalore location, so if the work location is a Bangalore, or if the work location is a Trivandrum, so you have to give the some bonus. So then you can use the some update query, update update table name, set the bonus equal to this much percentage, where the work location equal to Bangalore, those things and all. Let us try to use the delete. So I don't want this one, so not a K. Okay, this K, where, okay, so let's use the same thing, comment, and use the again execute non-query here, and existing DB connection, edit query, use the delete command. So delete also you can, if you want to get the command, so you can get using the this one. So this is a very simple thing. So delete delete from table name, and where the was the vehicle number equal to the condition, basically the condition, vehicle number equal to K. Okay, this one, just use this one, update this query here. And what I'm saying, you see, this names you can pass from the parameters also. How can we pass this one names? So first of all, remove from here. Okay, v number is a @v number, right? Parameters, create a v number, the same variable what you used in the query without symbol. Here I am using that value. So this value may be a variable also, right, from the outside. Now let's run. So whether how many records are there now? The records are 13. Normally 13 records are there before deleting. Okay. Now let us see. So there's a K is there. Let me run again. So you can see now there is no KA. 12 records are there. It is deleted. So that is the purpose of the execute non-query. Execute non-query, very important. Execute non-query. What is the difference between execute non-query? Execute non-query and execute query. Execute non-query, you can insert, you can update, you can delete. We saw all the things, right? Let us see the execute query. Execute query. Basically the execute query is the same thing. So use the DB connection and so query. So what is a query? Select select a star from
Data table.
this data table name. So you can use whatever you want. That select statements, a lot of select statements are there. So you can use a where condition, select star from this table name where this columns is equal to this one, or select the only few columns. These things and all you can use. Here also you can pass the parameters if required. Okay. So what is the output of this one? Execute non-execute query. The output is a data table. See here, it is a data table. It will return the data table. Okay. C data. C data is Chalana data. C data is a data table. Okay. Once you get the data table, so what you can do, you can just perform anything, right? So write to CSV, write to Excel, anything you can perform. So what we can do, so I'm just creating one folder here and DB. So within this DB, so I'm just pasting it to the this data, the path slash so chalana.csv. So this output of the execute query is the C data. So this C data I'm giving here so that it will create a file. So what we are doing now, we're just reading the entire data from the table in the database and load that into the data table and write into the CSV, the new CSV. See here, we got the chalana.csv file. Open this one. You can find the all the data. So once you get the data tables, what we can do, you can filter, you can sort, you can do anything, right? So this is a data table.
Sudhir, can I write again into the database?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can do
output.
that one. Yeah, you can do.
Where I need to.
Okay. See that's what we done here, right? So that's what we done here. So we loaded everything chalana dt. So so instead of chalana dt, if you use a c data, so c data it will write. So what we done, so we are just retrieving the data from the database right into the CSV, not only right into the CSV, right into the database also. That's what you are asking, right? Now 12 records are there. See, the duplicate records also there. Got it?
Super.
You can write into the database.
The data table name. Okay.
Yeah, data table name. Okay. And also not only that, so there is a some okay, let me comment this one. So execute query, you understand, right? Execute query. Now here, so insert is there. Insert data. Okay. This insert is a bulk insert. Instead of insert one by one by using the execute query, so you can insert one shot. That means, see here, I'm just giving the data table name. You have to give the data table name. What is the data table? And the data table which is from the database, and this data table. Okay.
No need to connect
is here. Yeah, we already have the database connection here, right? No need to connect. This is a connect is already there in the above. Okay, and disconnect is also there. In the middle only we are doing this operation. So insert is a one other activity to insert the. So what everything is commented, right? So only the reading the data from the CSV, load into the C data table, and give the C data table and the database name, table name. Let us try whether it will execute or throw the error. Because so there is something is like it should have, yeah, it is showing the throwing the errors. Okay. So what it is throwing the errors, object reference not set to an instance of object. So right, okay, read CSV. We need the read CSV. Read CSV. We will read the CSV. Okay, this one, read CSV and see data. Comment this one, write CSV. We'll read the CSV and load the data into the database. Currently we have a 24 records, 24 rows are there. Now it is saying that's another issue. Value cannot be null in the source. Value cannot be null in the sense, what it is saying, value cannot be null. So which value is null here? Chalana, if I open Chalana, There is something is it's not writing properly. Okay. uh, because of the earlier execution. Let us try to see, but it is not okay. So it is stored as a text file, but we don't need the text file. So let us execute this one, the earlier one, okay, so that we will get the data. Okay, so the earlier one, and comment the insert statement. So let's run. So it will retrieve the whole data into the CSV from the database. Now remove this comment.
కామెంట్స్ చేయటం భలే కష్టంగా ఉంది.
Control D is a shortcut for the comments. Okay? Control D. Select the activity and click on the Control D. Now how many rows are there? So 24 rows are there. Okay, so let's see here. 24 rows are there. Okay, now let us see this chalana.csv. It has how many rows? Again 24 rows. 24 rows. Okay, without, if you remove the headers, how many? 24 rows only, right? Okay, what we can do now, so we'll just use the read CSV. Yeah, read CSV. Control D is a shortcut key for comment. Control E is a shortcut key for enable, the reverse, enabling the activity. Now we read the CSV and load into the data table and load into the insert. Okay, let me run. Yeah, it is saying that's an invalid column name is a total in the sense, so total, so there should be a same columns, there should be a same column names. So total, let me remove the space and bot status. And here also, basically what happened, the data column names should match. Name should match. Okay, if you have a different column names, it won't allow. Now we have a 24. Let's try to run. Yeah, it's done. So let's execute now. So you can see 48 records are there.
Right.
Okay, so that is the final statements is a insert. So sometimes if insert is a best one. So if you are having the bulk data and load into the database.
Thank you very much for watching this video, friends. So to get more hands-on experience, you can join as a Sky member. Please join this channel.